Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters in Christ, today I want to talk about something deeply personal, something that carries the weight of destiny, the whisper of eternity. Chosen one, this is about your grandfather. There was a mystery about him, you see. Sometimes God writes stories in the bloodline, mysteries that travel through generations, waiting for the appointed time to be revealed. Your grandfather's life was not an accident. His struggles were not without purpose. His journey was a shadow of something greater. A sign, a message meant to reach you. For within every generation, God plants a seed of calling. And maybe, just maybe, the mystery that surrounded your grandfather was heaven's way of preparing the chosen one, you, for what is to come. And before we go any further, my brothers and sisters, if this message is stirring something in your heart, if you feel that spark, that calling deep within, then don't just let it pass. Follow this channel, be part of this journey, because every word you hear here is meant to awaken the chosen one within you. Hit that subscribe button. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Your voice matters. Your story matters. Give this video a like, not just for numbers, but as a declaration that you are among the 99 who refuse to give up, who rise when others fall, who believe that God still writes miracles through ordinary people like you. Divine purpose runs through your bloodline even when you cannot see it, even when it feels like your life is nothing more than a series of random events. God's hand has been weaving through generations, shaping destinies, aligning moments, and planting seeds of purpose long before you ever took your first breath. Your existence is not a coincidence. It is a continuation of something sacred that began long ago. Every family carries within it a spiritual thread, a divine assignment that runs through the bloodline. You are part of that thread, whether you realize it or not. Your struggles, your dreams, your passions, they are echoes of those who came before you, whispers of heaven, reminding you that you are part of something eternal. Sometimes the blessings of the past become the strength of the present. Sometimes the unfinished battles of your ancestors become the assignments of your generation. Maybe your grandfather fought silently for something he never got to see fulfilled. Maybe he prayed prayers that never came to pass in his lifetime, but they are now waiting to be answered through a you. God does not forget prayers. He stores them, preserves them, and releases their power when the time is right. And maybe, just maybe, that time is now. There are mysteries that flow through families, gifts, callings, talents, even burdens that carry a divine imprint. If you look close enough, you'll see that what burns in your heart is not new, it's inherited. It's the same fire that burned in those who walk before you, but now it's been refined, purified, prepared for your generation. You are the vessel chosen to carry it further, higher, deeper than they could. It's not about living in their shadow. It's about fulfilling what began in their spirit. When God marks a family line, he marks it with intention. The same blood that carried the pain also carries the promise. Your bloodline is not cursed, it's chosen. Yes, there may have been brokenness, loss, or failure, but even those things have been used by God to prepare the soil for your destiny. The enemy always attacks what is destined to rise, and if your family has faced battles, it's because there is greatness buried in its roots. You are not here to repeat their mistakes. You are here to redeem their story. You are the continuation of a divine assignment that began before you were born. Think of it. Your grandfather, your great-grandfather, those who carried faith through storms, who held on to hope when everything around them was falling apart. They were not just surviving, they were building a foundation for you. They were sowing in tears so you could reap in joy. And now heaven looks upon you and says, it's your turn. You carry not only your dreams, but the unfulfilled dreams of those who came before. That is why you feel that pressure inside, that pull towards something greater. It's not just ambition, it's inheritance. The same divine current that flowed through them is flowing through you now, calling you to rise, to awaken, to walk in the purpose that runs through your very veins. The mystery of your grandfather points to your calling, and sometimes the past carries clues that the present has yet to uncover. There are things that were hidden in his story, moments that didn't make sense then, but now begin to whisper truth to you. God often conceals purpose within mystery, and what seemed like confusion in his life may now reveal direction in yours. His journey was not just about him. It was a prophecy waiting to unfold through you. His life, his struggles, his silence, even his secrets, they were all part of a divine riddle that heaven intended for you to solve. There are times when God speaks through generations, leaving fragments of revelation in the lives of those who came before. Your grandfather may not have understood why he walked certain paths, why he faced certain storms, or why he carried certain burdens. Heaven did. His story was written with divine ink, and though he may have passed before understanding it all, the meaning is now being revealed in your time. You were chosen to uncover it, interpret it, to bring completion to what was left incomplete. Sometimes God hides your purpose in the stories of your ancestors so that when you rise not as an individual, as the fulfillment of generations. Maybe he carried dreams that were too heavy for his season, dreams that could only bloom in yours. Maybe the things he longed for, the battles he couldn't win, were never meant to end with him, but to continue with you. His victories were your foundation. His struggles were your preparation. His faith was your inheritance. The same God who walked with him through quiet moments now walks with you, continuing what began in his spirit. The mystery that surrounded him was not a sign of failure. It was a divine seal, keeping the promise hidden until you arrived. Look closer at the things he stood for, the values he carried, the strength he showed when no one was watching. Weren't just character traits, they were markers, divine fingerprints that point you toward your destiny. Even his weaknesses can speak to you, revealing the areas you were called to redeem. Nothing in his life was wasted. Every experience was part of the message meant for you. God often hides revelation in remembrance. In the stories, the traditions, things passed down in whispers and family memories. Sometimes what you call coincidence is actually confirmation. You may find that the mystery surrounding your grandfather isn't just about who he was, but about who you're becoming. His silence may have been heaven's way of protecting something sacred, keeping it untouched until the appointed time. And now that time has come. The clues are aligning, pieces are connecting, and the same hand that guided him is guiding you. What he began in faith, you are called to finish in power. The mystery is not meant to confuse you, but to call you closer to God, awaken something ancient within you that says, this is your moment, this is your purpose, this is what the generations were waiting for. You are the chosen one for this generation, not by accident, not by luck, but by divine appointment. Before you were born, before your first cry was ever heard on this earth, heaven had already marked you. God saw the timeline of generations and decided that you would be the one to rise in this season. There is something in you that the world needs, something heaven deposited that cannot be duplicated, replaced, or ignored. You carry the breath of purpose that has been waiting for this exact moment in history to be released. When you feel the weight of that call, it's not pressure, it's purpose reminding you who you are. You are not ordinary. There is a reason why you think differently, why you dream beyond limits, why you sense things others overlook. That's not coincidence. That's calling. The chosen ones always feel a bit out of place because they were never meant to fit into the patterns of the world. God sets them apart, refines them, and often isolates them so they can hear his voice clearly. You might have walked through seasons of confusion, wondering why you had to face what you faced. Everything was shaping you for this divine moment. You were being trained in silence for an assignment that would speak loudly to the world. There are people who will never understand the weight you carry, and that's okay. They weren't designed to. Being chosen means you often walk paths few will understand. It means you bear burdens others couldn't carry. It means you fight battles not just for yourself, but for those who will come after you. Every tear, every delay, every disappointment, it's all part of the divine molding process. Chosen ones are refined through fire, not destroyed by it. They are broken to be rebuilt stronger, humbled to carry greater glory. You are the chosen one for this generation because God trusted you with the legacy of faith, the torch of hope, and the voice of truth. When others see darkness, you were called to bring light. When others give up, you were designed to rise. Your purpose is not small, and that's why the battles have been great. The enemy always attacks what carries potential, and your life has been a target because of the destiny attached to your name. But even in the battles, God has been shaping your endurance, building your faith, and preparing your spirit to stand tall. Being chosen doesn't mean being perfect. It means being available. God is not looking for flawless people. He is looking for willing ones. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to say yes, because through you, something greater is coming. Through you, chains will break, families will heal, and new beginnings will rise. You are the bridge between what was and what will be. Your voice carries power, your presence carries authority, and your life carries a message written by heaven itself. That is why you are still here, breathing, still standing, because you were chosen for such a time as this. God's timing reveals hidden destinies, and though it often feels slow, uncertain, or even silent, it is never late. Heaven operates on a rhythm beyond human understanding, and everything God has promised unfolds at the exact moment it is meant to. What you see as delay is often divine preparation. What feels like silence is God arranging the pieces you cannot yet see. The destiny written over your life has an appointed hour, and no force on earth or in hell can bring it forth before its time or stop it once the hour has come. Every season of waiting, every unanswered prayer, every door that seemed closed was part of the clockwork of heaven. When God hides something, it's not because he wants to deny you, it's because he wants to prepare you. Destinies are hidden until you are strong enough to carry them. If the vision came too soon, it would crush you, not crown you. The waiting is not punishment, it is divine training. God's timing refines you, teaching you patience, faith, and trust, shaping your heart to align with his will. When you learn to surrender to his timing, you stop fighting the process and start flowing with purpose. The hidden seasons are where the chosen are shaped, where character is built, and where foundations of faith are laid. Look at how God moved in the lives of those who came before you. Abraham waited, Joseph was forgotten, David was overlooked, and yet each one's destiny unfolded at the perfect time. They didn't miss it, they matured into it. Your story is no different. Every step, every setback, every closed door is part of the divine timeline. You may feel like you've been in the background for too long, but God's timing is about revelation, not recognition. When the right time comes, he brings you forward not by your own effort, but by divine command. When heaven says, now, no man can say not yet. Hidden destinies are like seeds, buried unseen, but alive when the soil of time and faith covers them. It may look like nothing is happening, but beneath the surface, life is growing. There's a moment when what was hidden begins to break through, and suddenly the years of waiting make sense. That's what God's timing does. It turns mystery into manifestation. And when it happens, it will not be because of luck or chance, but because the hand of God moved in its appointed season. Sometimes God allows you to walk through long nights so you can learn to trust his sunrise. You may wonder why certain things took years, why opportunities passed you by, why prayers seemed unanswered. But in truth, God was aligning your heart, your surroundings, and even the hearts of others connected to your destiny. When he reveals it, you'll see how every delay was direction, every pause was protection, and every quiet moment was preparation. His timing never fails because he's not just revealing your destiny, he's revealing you to your destiny at the moment you're ready to walk in it fully. Rise above fear and walk in faith, because fear is the greatest thief of destiny. It disguises itself as reason, as caution, as logic, but in truth, it is the silent voice that keeps many from ever stepping into what God has prepared for them. Fear whispers, you're not ready, you're not worthy, you might fail. But faith answers back, God is with me, and that is enough. Every chosen one must face the battle between fear and faith, and it is in that battle where true courage is born. Courage is not the absence of fear, it's the decision to move forward despite it. Faith doesn't always erase fear, but it overrules it, and that is where victory begins. There will be moments when everything in your life seems uncertain, when the road ahead looks dark and impossible, but faith sees light where the eyes cannot. God has never called anyone to walk by sight. He calls his chosen to walk by trust. When you rise above fear, you rise above limitation. You step into a place where miracles happen, because miracles live on the other side of faith. Fear builds walls. Faith builds bridges. Fear limits what God can do through you. Faith releases his power to flow freely. You were not created to live in hesitation. You were created to live in holy confidence, knowing that the same God who called you will carry you. Fear comes to test your belief in what God said. It challenges your identity, your calling, your purpose. It makes you question if you really heard from God, if you're really capable, if you're really chosen. But the truth is, fear only attacks what carries potential. The stronger your calling, the louder fear becomes, because it knows that once you move in faith, nothing can stop you. Enemy uses fear as his loudest weapon, but faith is heaven's greatest defense. When you choose faith over fear, you silence the voice of the enemy and awaken the voice of God within you. Faith is not blind, it sees beyond the visible. It sees promise in the wilderness, victory in the battle, beauty in the ashes. It walks when logic says stop, it believes when evidence says no, and it stands firm when everything shakes. Faith is what keeps you moving when you don't know how the story will end. It's trusting that God's hand is still guiding, even when his plan is still hidden. When you walk in faith, you give heaven permission to move on your behalf. You have already survived things fear said would destroy you. Every time you refused to give up, every time you prayed through pain, every time you stood when you could have fallen, faith was growing stronger. Now it's time to rise above the fear that tries to keep you small. You are not called to shrink in the face of challenges. You are called to rise. Fear says stay safe. Faith says step forward. Fear says it's too late. Faith says God is never late. The path of faith is not easy, but it is powerful, because when you walk in faith, you walk in alignment with heaven's design for your life. Your story is the continuation of his legacy. Every generation is like a chapter in a divine book, and yours is not the beginning nor the end, but the continuation of something sacred that began long before you were born. Your grandfather's life, his struggles, his prayers, his sacrifices, they were all part of the foundation upon which you now stand. You are the living answer to prayers that were once whispered in secret. His legacy is not just in the blood that runs through your veins, but in the faith, the courage, and the endurance that flows through your spirit. You carry what he began, and heaven expects you to carry it further. There are moments in life when you can almost feel the weight of that inheritance, the unspoken dreams, the unfinished work, the spiritual battles that were left behind for you to complete. It's not a burden, it's a baton. Every runner in a relay knows the importance of the handoff. Your grandfather ran his part of the race with all the strength he had, and now that baton of purpose has been placed in your hands. You are not starting from nothing. You are continuing something eternal. The same God who walked with him is walking with you, ensuring that the story of faith doesn't end with the last generation, but grows stronger in this one. Your story carries echoes of his voice. Maybe the wisdom he spoke still lingers in your heart. Maybe the example he lived still influences the way you see the world. Maybe you never fully understood him when he was alive, but now, as you walk your own path, you begin to see that what he went through was not random. It was prophetic. God often uses the lives of our ancestors to set the stage for the next act of his divine drama. Your life is the next scene. The legacy continues through your choices, your faith, your obedience. When you rise, you don't rise alone. The strength that carried him through hardship is the same strength that carries you now. Every time you stand in faith, you honor what he stood for. Every time you choose righteousness, you complete what he began. Your breakthrough becomes the fulfillment of his prayers. His legacy was never meant to stay in the past. It was meant to evolve in you. What he built in spirit, you are called to manifest in reality. This is how heaven writes history through generations connected by purpose. You may not have his voice, his path, or his story, but you carry his fire. Legacies are not about imitation. They are about continuation. God does not want you to become your grandfather. He wants you to become who your grandfather prayed would come. You are the realization of his hopes, the embodiment of his faith, the visible sign that his life mattered. The legacy is not just behind you, it's alive within you, moving, breathing, growing. Every step you take in faith turns memory into momentum, transforming what was once a story into a living mission. And as you walk forward, heaven watches, because the story that began with him is now unfolding through you, carrying the same divine flame into the next generation.